Hello, it's Uncommon Fossil, and today I want to talk about live and just how well it's working for people in general. I put up a poll the other day. Polls are found under the community tab on the website in YouTube. And then I placed this poll, and I want to see there were some comments. I want to talk about that too. So, question I posed was, how well is live working for you? Please just consider problems that actually affect gameplay. Ignore visual glitches. There was a question of what I consider problems that affect gameplay, which I'll discuss in a minute. And then the answer, I gave 5 choices. Live works for me all of the time. Live works for me most of the time. Live works for me some of the time. Live rarely works for me, and live never works for me. And the results are pretty good, actually. They would have been worse a little while ago, I'd assume. But, at times the perception is that live just doesn't work for anybody. But the majority of people say that live works for me most of the time, which is where I am also. That's about 2/3 of the people. Now, it should be better than that. I mean, it's not okay that it's only at that place. It should be working virtually all the time, right? I'm not saying live is good. Don't take me wrong. But I do think things have improved some in the last few weeks or month. Hopefully, it needs to continue to get better, though. We will see. Hopefully, they're working on an update and they'll release that down the road. But a third of the people said live works for me some of the time. So that's not good, right? Working only some of the time is not adequate. At this point, nobody said it rarely works or never works. And I think a few months ago, we would have heard responses in that area as well. So that's a positive trend for live. I'll probably try to do this poll again down in the future, just see how things change. And one person actually came and said live works for me all of the time. And honestly, live does work for me most of the time personally. What I do find, the biggest issues I find is that affect gameplay is when you can't select a card. And honestly, what I've been doing a little bit of Lost Zone lately, and it seems to affect when I'm playing Lost Zone more. I don't know if it's the particular types of cards I'm doing. Do I just do more searches on Lost Zone? I'm not sure, but I find sometimes Colorist Experiment, I can't select the card I want. And then sometimes with Battle VIP Pass, even not other non-Lost Zone decks, I can't select the Pokemon I want, right, with like Battle VIP Pass, possibly Nest Ball, Ultra Ball. It's those lacking selecting cards, and that's a major problem and can lead to game losses, and that's not okay. It's very intermittent, so it makes it difficult for live to sort out, I will say. I would encourage you, though, if you have problems that you can definitively say when it occurred, post let live know that you have an actual issue through not the forum. The forum's fine too, but through posting a question, and I can give you information about that if you need to know for that. So the questions that were asked, though, what question first was, depends on whether or not you count not showing cards from the discard as a glitch or not. It's definitely a mistake, but not sure if it's always a glitch. So what they're referring to, and there was a question that came up what I meant by that. So what happens is you play a card like Super Rod, where cards move from the discard to the deck. It doesn't actually say on the card to reveal the cards. The way the programmers did it, if it says reveal the card, they reveal the card. If it doesn't say reveal, they don't reveal it. But there's actually, I believe, an official IRL ruling it for tournaments and events that you have to show the cards to your opponent. You're required to do that. And PTCGO, if I remember correctly, did reveal the cards that did reveal the cards that were moving back. So it should be doing it, but what I said here is don't count not showing cards recovered from the discard as a glitch. Yes, it's correct. Yes, that's not correct, but it's not a coding problem. Rather, it's a lack of understanding the game. And then I put in parentheses, which is probably an even bigger issue, which it is, right? The coder, the people designing the game don't seem to understand how Pokemon works to some extent, and that's a problem, right? That's actually a bigger problem than the coders struggling with things, I think. I do think there's some structural issues with the game, and some things are just being handled very poorly, which does make development of the game a problem. But I just said for now, look, don't consider it a glitch not showing the cards, because that's the way the programmers want it to be. It shouldn't be that way, but it's not a glitch. Obviously, when you can't select a card from Battle VIP Pass, then that's a problem, right? You can't select a basic Pokemon to put into play on turn 1. So that's a problem. Now, right, someone was asked, what do you mean by not showing cards in the discard pile? Can't you just click the discard pile? Which is true. You can always check the discard pile in a sense, you can say, hey, you're supposed to know what's in your opponent's discard pile, so you can look at it after the fact and find out what's changed. But you don't want the reason why the ruling was made is so that the player doesn't constantly have to be checking their opponent's discard pile because it slows down the game, right? And you really shouldn't have to memorize. Like if a person has 40 cards in the discard pile, you shouldn't be expected to memorize all 40 cards exactly, right? So it speeds the game up and such. So, but I did say here, yes, you do have access to your opponent's discard pile, but you don't necessarily know the exact kind of card, which is true. But, as a gameplay tip, you should keep an eye on what's in your opponent's discard pile, right? You generally have an idea of what the counts are for different decks, and you should have an idea of what cards are important for a matchup. So keep an eye on that. But again, just expanding on that question a little bit. But I didn't want people to consider that as a glitch. And then the other comment was it's real hit or miss, which is unfortunate, right? So I guess that fits under some of the time. I do have days, I will say, when I was playing Lost Zone, I think the other day, where I had multiple games with glitches. A lot of times I go like a week where I have no glitches or one glitch. So I consider myself pretty fortunate. I know some people have more problems. But, live right now works most of the time for most of the people. That's okay. It's not good. It's not where it should be, certainly. But I think it is an improvement from where it was several months ago. So we're on an uptrend. I will look forward to seeing in the future how things go. Hopefully, live doesn't cause problems with their updates, right? The last couple updates have generally been okay. They had that significant glitch with the ability to lock cards, freezing up the game. That was a problem. But in credit for live, they dealt with it fairly quickly. Now, it should have happened to the first place. No, could have been dealt with quicker. Yes. But they banned the cards for about a week, and then they fixed the issue. And in the past, like when Mew was causing the games to lock up, if you were playing back then, I don't remember exactly what it was. It may have had to do with Fusion Strike Energy or something being in play. That stayed as a game-breaking glitch, I think, for weeks at a time. And actually, I stopped playing live for a bit because it was just unplayable. To me, unfortunately, on the other side, that was unfortunate. Is people were exploiting the glitch, which I don't like to see, to get auto wins, right? Because you froze up the game and you would get a win, your opponent get a loss, but the opponent doesn't know what's going on. So, hopefully, be good community members. Try not to exploit glitches, especially when they're to the detriment of your opponents. And hopefully live continues to improve. It seems like since PTCGO is sunset that things have improved some. So perhaps it really is true that they're taking the money, the resources they're putting towards PTCGO and the money towards there and putting it into live. Hopefully that's the case. And hopefully things get better. And hopefully soon, before the year ends. I don't think it's going to be a miraculous turnaround in the next month or so, but maybe before the year ends, there'll be a major update that really gets things to the place it should be. And then hopefully things like expanded can be what they are supposed to be in all that. But that's the state of live currently. If you have any other comments or thoughts on it, you can respond to the poll under the community tab. And hopefully live is working for you. If you have problems with live games, the one piece of advice I'll pass on is close live completely, exit it all the way, and then load up the game again. If you had a glitch in one game, it can be that there's some memory issues with your compute, with live, the way it's handling things. Close the game up, reopen it. The odds are reduced of having an issue. If you do find that certain decks, or even more important, certain cards are causing trouble, then do let live know, because I think they're working on things. Their ability and their capability to do things is limited, but I assume that they do want the people I'm sure working on it want the game to work well. If they get enough information, they will hopefully fix it. And the more information, the sooner it gets addressed. At least that's my hope. So good luck with live. Take care.